Hello everyone. Welcome to Connect, Learn, and Grow with Janice. And today we are going to be doing a picky eater's plate. And so this is something that I, out of desperation, kind of came up with from an idea from a restaurant we went to. I have 3 children and they all were relatively picky eaters. And we used to go out to this local tea room. And of course they didn't like anything that was on the menu. They didn't like quiche, they didn't like big huge sandwiches, they didn't like salad. So what the restaurant or the tea room did is they made for kids a special plate where they used all kinds of fruits and vegetables and made a face on the plate. And I was always astounded when I went there because the girls of course would order that and then they'd sit there and eat everything off the plate, and half the things they supposedly didn't like. And so I thought, this is a good idea. It's a great way to test out whether you really do like something or not. So that's what I'm going to present to you today. So what we will need today is a knife, a plate, and then a number of fruits and vegetables. I'm going to center on vegetables today, but I find it works better if you mix fruits and vegetables together on the plate so that there's lots of things to try. And so today we're going to start. So I would suggest that you go to your child and say, oh, we're going to make a fun new plate today. It's called a face plate. And it's a way of, and it's a special snack that we're going to make together. And then you can work with your child to do that. So you might need a plastic knife for your child to use for if you're going to do it together. Okay, so we're going to start. So some things to remember when you're making things for children is not to give them too big a stuff. They like nice dainty finger foods, things that are easy to pick up, things that are easy to dip. So, you know, you could imagine if you put dip in this and then you gave them this and they're trying to, and they can't even get it in, you know, so it defeats the purpose of the whole thing. So it's good to try to cut things up. So you might want to cut them. Well, first of all, I would cut the stem off, but leave enough for them to hold. And then I would cut it into much smaller pieces. So probably about this big. Okay? And this today is going to be my hair. So I've cut some up to make hair. And of course, you would talk to your child about where's the hair on your head. How are we going to put it on here? And maybe the child can place the things or you can place them together. You know, so I'm doing hair at the top. Okay. Now, some other things that your child might not like or might not have tried yet is mushroom. And mushroom make, when cut this way, mushroom make great eyes, so I'm going to use those as my eyes. And then I like, if you're doing fruits and vegetables, to put some cheese in, because almost every kid loves cheese and you want to have at least something that they like on the plate. So I cut a nose out of the cheese to put on my face. And then I did some eyeballs, so you can talk to your children about where the eyeballs are, to put inside my mushrooms. And then when you're doing this, I'm trying to get lots of color into this, make it attractive for them to eat, lots of different things to try, not things to eat, things to try. This is a tasting plate. So you want to use good language that will be positive, that will want them to be able to try some things. And hopefully you can try some new things with them this way. Okay, so you might cut things like in slices. You might cut things in chunks. This I cut in a very thin little sort of wedge. And then you might even grind some things up. So I've got some carrot here that I've shredded, and that's going to be my eyebrow. So that'll be very funny to children that they're, you know, you're going to put eyebrows on your face. And the thing about it will be that if they eat any of it, that's the goal, you know. That you can get that much closer to getting them eating things. And at the very least, you can get them used to at least trying things. Whether or not they eat them, maybe, maybe not. And then I've got peppers, which I've sliced very thin so that they're not too chunky. And again, these are make great ears. So I'm going to put them on as my ears. And then when you are slicing, make sure that you aren't slicing anything that's too thick. So I would say that that's almost too thick, but of course this is much better because it's thinner, so it's easy to eat through. You know, and of course when you're doing all this, you can talk about shapes as well as colors, you know, and work that into the conversation. And of course these are cucumbers and they make great eyes. And you'll find that even with a plastic knife, a child can cut a cucumber without too much difficulty. So they can help with some of the cutting anyway, and of course with the building of the face. Okay, now to go on. So I've cut a bunch of cucumber, and that's going to be my mouth. And of course it's going to have a happy mouth. So this is my plate that I've made for my child to try. And so with this, I would always serve some dip. So, you know, they may have a favorite one, and that might be the best way to go. Or if you want them to try different dips, you can offer 3 or 4 to them, and then they can try different dips. So I have these cute little containers that make for good dips. So I might do 2 different colors. So you can talk about like Thousand Islands, the pinky one, or whatever you want to call it. Or cool cucumber, creamy cucumber might be a good choice. Ranch is often what you get in restaurants. Or Caesar, a creamy Caesar is another good option. So then there you go, there's my plate. So if you do it with your child, why then that helps half the time with getting them to try things because you made it together. And make one for yourself so you can be part of it as well. Because if a child sees you eating, why they'll want to try it too. Here's another one that I made earlier. And again, I would serve it with dip. So I have mushroom ears. I have a little bit of lettuce hair. I have cheese eyes. I have a cucumber nose. And I have celery and carrots as the mouth. So again, that would be fun to do. Oh, and I forgot the eyebrows, which are cucumbers. So there's some other ideas. Now, if you have a really young child and they, you know, don't want to try anything, you can also do this where you give them the plate, but then you give them these plates. These are just paper plates. I put a happy face on one, this one, and a sad face on the other. And then if there's food on their plate that they've tried, and they don't like it, then they can put it on the sad face. So that gets it off their plate and they've tried it and you know they tried it and they don't like it. So that's good. Or sometimes they'll try to just put everything they think they don't like on the plate. Well, suggest they dip it first and then see if they like it or not, or don't like it. So that can work as well too, and that helps you with knowing what children like and what children don't like. And then some other things you can do is making sure you're choosing lots of colors, lots of textures. Some children don't like mushy, so they won't like the inside of the cucumber. But if you cut it like the eyebrows, like I did the eyebrows, you actually take the mushy part out and it's solider, so they might like it then. So that's something. Some children don't like chunks. So don't cut any chunks, do slices or whatever else might work the best. Sometimes shredding works really well, and it's a lot easier for them to pick up, especially if their fine motor isn't developed too much yet. Then maybe shredding is an easier way for them to eat things. Always serve it with dip. So that's important that children try things, but often dip helps them to like things. And so, for example, my middle daughter hated all vegetables except corn. And we had vegetables every night for supper, so she had to eat them. They were part of our diet. And so what we did is we compromised in that we gave her very little, but we allowed her to put ketchup on it so she would eat her vegetables. And to this day, she's still eating some of her vegetables with ketchup on it. Yuck. So, you know, yeah, do what you can to get them to eat. The first goal is to try to get them to try things. And then once they start trying things and becomes a regular thing, then it's easier to get them to eat more. And so something else you can do is set one day of the week is faceplate day. Oh boy, it's faceplate day. Maybe it's Saturday at lunchtime. So you've got time to make it together and sit down and eat it together. So maybe you can make your child's and your child can make yours, and then you can eat together. So those are all things that will help, hopefully, with getting your child to eat more and hopefully enjoy more foods. So thanks for coming today, and I hope you have good luck with your picky eater. Thanks a lot. Bye.